In this, we'll see the network defense fundamentals. This material and slides, and I have taken from the book called Guide to Network Defense and Countermeasures by Don Weaver. Okay. This is a very famous book uh, for the network defenses and countermeasures. So this book is from the Pearson Education. So this material from this second chapter is the network defense fundamentals. The same second chapter I am considering for this lecture, and the slides also I have taken from the same book. So already we have seen in the previous introductory lectures that what is meant by information security. That is protection of information and its critical elements, especially like system and hardware that you use and store and transmit the information. That means here the system and hardware means we have seen previously the application level attacks and the operating system level attacks. But sometimes the attacks may also go into the deep and may also damage your hardware, which is a kind of denial of service attack. In the denial of service attack, basically this DOS or denial of service can be fired or can be performed at various levels of the protocol stack. So either it may be at the physical level, or it may be at the data link level, or maybe at the network level. So whenever it was performed at the physical level, then the hardware may not be reusable. Even after restart also, that hardware will not work. And storage, data storage, especially the ransomware attack. This ransomware attack is especially targets the storage. All the files in the device or hard disk will be encrypted, and to decrypt the device decrypt the files, you are supposed to pay some ransom, and then only that particular files will be decrypted and transmit the information. Obviously, we have whatever the things we have seen so far is related to transmission of the information. So information security includes the information security management, computer and data security, and network security. So what is this information security? This security layers at the network security, that is protect components, connections, and content, physical items or areas, personal security, especially the privacy of the people, protect the people, operation security, protect the details of activities, communication security, protect media, technology, and content. And in the entire course, some keywords will be used which are very important to know, because the entire literature will be with these words. Whenever we are going to refer to an organizational resource, we will call it as an asset. Asset means organizational resource being protected. Attack means act that causes damage to the information or systems. Control, safeguard, or countermeasure, all are one and the same, which is used for security mechanisms, policies, or procedures. Exploit means the technique used to compromise the system. Remember, in networks and in the networking and security, compromise in the sense you are going to take hold of a computer. That means the attacker is going to take control over the system, which is called compromising. Technique used to compromise the system. Exposure, condition or state of being exposed to attack. Here attack is different, exploiting is different, vulnerability is different, exposure is different. There exist some differences between these keywords that I will explain in the later slides. The risk, probability that something unwanted will happen, which is called risk. Subject, agent used to conduct the attack. That means the one who is going to conduct the attack. on which that agent is conducting attack is said to be target. For example, A and B are the computers. Computer A, attacker is sitting. That means he is the subject. On computer B, some normal user is sitting and working. If A wants to attack the system B, then B is said to be target. Threat, entity presenting danger to an asset is said to be threat. Vulnerability, weakness or fault in a system. It opens up possibility of attack or damage. Look at presence of vulnerability will open up the possibility of attack or damage. One thing you remember, this computer networks and security, you don't think it as a technical subject, provided you think it as a you correlate the computer networks and security with the general society, so that many ununderstandable concepts can be understood easily. Here, vulnerability is in the sense that there is a weakness available in the system or a fault available in the system. Detecting of that vulnerability sometimes, or if you try to explore that vulnerability, then the attacker will try to come to know that in how many ways we can exploit it so that it will lead to the system damage. That is what they call vulnerability. Threat, in the sense, presence of vulnerability may not lead to threat. However, if it was exploited, then it may lead to threat. Thereby, that threat may lead to attack. Okay, that is what the relation between the vulnerability, threat, and attack. So, I hope nowadays most of the students and one they know that they are well versed with the politics, and they may be following the political things. Last year, around the same time, maybe in the October November time, two acts were passed by the government of India. Actually, it is only one act, which is called Citizenship Amendment Act. And there is another act which is especially for the state of Assam, which is called NRC, National Register for Citizens. So basically, these two acts was raised to many disputes. Not many disputes. Some section of people have raised some objection, and they came onto the streets. And the consequences happened afterwards. Actually, none of these particular act related to the Indian citizens. Now, what I am asking you to correlate is just to correlate this particular societal problem that we have faced in India last year with the intrusion detection and prevention systems. Here, especially this NRC and CAA were especially designed to not to allow any intruder into the India. The intruder, in the sense here, who are not belongs to India, who are not the origin of India, who was not born in India, and no way connected to the India. Because India is a large country, you can have many entry points into it. Like that, in any organization with huge resources of many servers and many systems, obviously will be having may have any entry point. Here, the entry point into the any country may be done from any corner. In case of computers and computer hardware, the entry will be done with the help of ports, port. So they will identify, that is, who the attackers will try to identify these sockets that are open for entering into the computer. Socket in the sense the IP address plus port number is said to be socket. So they will identify what are the open ports, and since every port can be used by any kind of application. That means in order to run an application, either it may be web application or it may be any other application, these applications must bind to a port and has to run. For example, if you want to access a HTTP service, then HTTP will bind to the port called 80. FTP is the service which will bind to the port called 21. 23. SMTP is the protocol which will bind to the port called 21. So like that, we have some specific services that are binded to a particular port and will work. If any other computer wants to access the service, then it has to use the IP address of the target and port on which the service is running and can make use of the service. That means the attackers will try to identify what are the open ports and what are the services running on the open ports, and will try to identify is there any vulnerabilities present in the services that are running on the open ports. Now the same concept you correlate to the country. So here there may be any number of entry points. Obviously, there are some vulnerable points where there is a frequency or there may be a higher probability of intruders. So there, obviously, the defense is there, which is called border security force, who are always round the clock, 24/7, 365 days, are safeguarding the borders, and they are taking care of this kind of intruders. So whenever the intruder found, they will fire there itself, or they will try to defend, or they will try to catch hold of the culprits. So in the same way, in our organization also, in any organization server also, there will be a first level of defense. Already we have seen a greater wall there in the previous lecture. And next, second line of defense, next detection systems, next the alert systems. So like that we have. So that means even though we try to place many walls, all these walls, any kind of wall, but it is not sufficient to stop all the intrusions. Finally, you see at the end some few entries, few threats or few intrusions you will find at the end. But whose responsibility is that to identify those things? So obviously, it is a local political system, and local police has to identify them, and immediately they have to respond. They have to provide the details of those people to the concerned governments. This is what the responsibility. So border security has done their work, then local security has done their work, but still some intruders will remain in the thing. So all these intruders will be having a threat in their mind that since they are not belong to this country, they are they are unaware of the culture of the country, they are unaware of the language, they are unaware of the sentiments and the culture that will followed by the people over here. Obviously, such intruders will be vulnerable, and they will be having some weakness in them. What is the weakness is at any time they may be caught. So these weaknesses will be exploited by the attackers. So here the attackers is maybe the attacker may be from the inside or maybe from the outside. So these attackers may exploit them. So thereby they will pose the threat to whom? To the society. So they will pose the threat to the asset. That is entity presenting danger to an asset. That means thereby they will vigorously come out okay, and they will pose a threat or a danger to the society by burning the buses, okay, blocking the streets, and damaging many things. That what we have witnessed in the early months of this year, in the February in Delhi, in August in Bangalore. So these are the things, actually, these are the threats. They have always been threat to the society. So there may be some vulnerable or malicious entities that may present in your computer, that may present in the computer, but you are unaware of that they are present. But whenever you install any antivirus software or internet security system software in your computer and will go for scanning of the entire disk at once, you can find surprisingly that many files sometimes will be found malicious. Whenever whenever the antivirus came into the runtime environment and it is protecting the runtime environment, surprisingly, you will find that many malicious files will be detected by the application, that is antivirus application. You never think of that these many malicious files available in your computer. You always feel that this is your system is working happily, but internally how internally it is eating your computer, okay, either in terms of resources. Obviously, these intruders are burden to the taxpayers. That means whatever the genuine taxpayers are there, the entire money will be going into to these intruders as the social schemes and maybe ration or maybe any other thing like that. The files which is that is malicious files which is available in the computer will try to eat the system resources, okay. And whenever this software identify this, you really surprise that you never think of that these many malicious entities will be present in the system. That is what the NRC Act that has came in the previous year. That is pertaining to the state of Assam. That is to book the national register of citizens. That means from the Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Atak to Katak, all the citizens must be registered. Whenever the citizens are registered, obviously it is very easy to identify who are the intruders. So now, among the among the many services that are running on the computer, and few services are malicious, do you want to stop? Do you want to stop a regular auditing and registering process because of these few software systems, few services? Obviously, it is a dangerous thing. If you stop like that, the entire system will stop. In the same way, because of this small set of intruders among 130 crores of people, if you stop the entire registry, then obviously it is a great threat to the society in future. For time being, you may survive, but next, after certain time, for certain years, your next generation may not survive. The same way, your system will survive now, but after certain time, your system may not survive because this population will grow. That means it may virus or this may intruders and may exponentially generate the viruses and may spread into the throughout the disk. Thereby, the files may not work, and so obviously the services will stop working. And obviously, there is a limited services. If the too many services are consuming, too much resources are consuming by the intruders or the malicious files, especially in the computer point of view, obviously it is a great threat to the system. So, obviously, like that, in the same way, this is a great threat to the country also. So, like that, if you can correlate the societal problems with the computer networks, then it is very easy for you to understand. You might have seen in your childhood, you might have known a story that there is a king has seven sons and all. Okay, like that, you can also think that there is a computer network. Computer network have seven sons. There are seven layers. Okay, So, like that, you are supposed to correlate the societal problems and societal things with the computer networks and security. Then it is not a big task for you. Within 3 to 4 months, you will be at least in an intermediate stage to know intermediate stage of familiarity of computer networks and security. So, why I am telling all these things means information security or network security is not far away technical. Okay, not no more technical, it is general, it is a quite general thing. It is totally depending upon your correlation with the general problems with the network problems. However, there is a technical gap here also. In the society also there is a technical things, and here also there are technical things. Okay, so these technicalities must be known to you. Then it is not a big task for you to correlate between the general problems and the network problems.